Alrighty, everybody. It is Thursday, so 8:22. As you noticed, I wasn't here yesterday. I had some very demanding contracting that I had to get done, and I thought I was going to get done because I normally get here at 4 a.m. and things go really well, and it just ended up being a little bit harder than I thought it would be. It took me a little bit longer, so here I am on Thursday. I apologize for not being here yesterday. So this is a good subject. It's one that, again, honestly, guys, I do the best I can to prepare subjects that are really based on the challenges that I see on a daily basis, and usually pretty fresh challenges. Okay, and I think that's very valuable when you're looking at the whole sales track, or you're looking at any business development that you're doing, or you're trying to launch a business, any of those things. So one of the most challenging companies that we have is Consult for Health. You guys have heard me talk about that a little bit in the past. And so this is kind of coming from some of my experience yesterday working on this business model. So this is the morning mindset. If you're new to the morning mindset, welcome. Please grab a notebook, get a pen, plan to make some good notes. Loved having you guys on here. I've actually got really good attendance today. Sometimes when I don't have a day available, then my attendance isn't as high as I'd like it to be, but I've got quite a number of you on here today. It's awesome. So today's subject, this is an important one. When you sit down and you're figuring out how you're going to operate your business, or how you're going to strategize around prospecting, or if you're a team manager, how you're working with each individual person in your team, you come up with a strategy and a design around how things will work best. Now, I've talked before in another mindset about being tactical on a daily basis, and it's very important to know that this is almost an adjunct to that. So if you haven't seen that video, it's on my YouTube channel, it's in LinkedIn, and I would watch that one as well, just to kind of as a precursor or a postcursor, I guess you could say, to the morning mindset this morning. So we have some very good plans, and we have lots of people involved in the launch of Consult for Health that's coming up imminently. Many people involved, lots of people out in the sales field that want to get involved with the company. We actually are holding a webinar next week. We've already got close to about 80 people signed up for that. But I've been thinking more intimately about the business model very recently, and you probably may have worked with the partner here or there that comes in and says, hey, I know we're doing it X way, but let's talk about how maybe we need to change what we're doing to make it better. And maybe you're the partner that brought that, or they're the ones that brought it to you. And in that environment, it's like, man, we have already figured out what we're doing. We've already got our plan. We've already had 6 meetings about how this is going to go. It's strategically already given to everybody that's involved. If there's a sales team, let's just say you've already sent documentation out. Once you start setting things in place in your roadmap, it becomes very tempting a lot of times to just stick to what you're going to do because you put it on paper, because you wrote it down. Now, I will tell you that it's very important that if you do need to make some changes, especially when you start getting into the 11th hour, that you better have way more than just an emotional argument as to why, or a preference that you see as something that would be easier on you, as opposed to just handling things that are in depth and more difficult because maybe that's the better way of doing things. So you've really got to be your own best judge when it comes to thoughts and feelings and ideas that come up. But it's also very important that you judge what you're coming up with in your mind on a consistent basis, because the variables may be better. They may be more accurate. They may save money, be faster, be more intelligent. And here's why. You want to pay very close attention to your strong business theory intuitions. Experience will cultivate in your subconscious and provide insights in moments of vision. So I'm a big psychology guy. I study a lot of psychology. In fact, Carl Jung's probably my favorite psychologist. And for those of you that have done some study in that, the subconscious mind is a very interesting part of our psyche. And what happens in our subconscious mind is all the impressions that we're bringing in on a daily basis, they're so overwhelming to a degree that discerning and discovering everything from those impressions as to how they may serve your survival, or how they may serve the pleasures you're looking for in life, because we're basically looking to either survive or to be happy, right? Find love, things like that. Well, our executive function, our thinking mind, the one that is awake, our conscious mind, is best served when it's very focused, right? When you're working on something specifically, getting rid of all the distractions so that you can do something very specific. Well, while that executive function is working in its manner, our subconscious and even connected to the unconscious mind is dealing with all of the rest of the impressions that we've brought in, all of the information that we have, and it's thinking right along with us while we're thinking consciously. Well, what ends up happening is sudden insights come to you. Okay, man, should have done it this way, or this would probably be a better idea, or man, why didn't I think of doing it like X? Well, where that's coming from is a very interesting part of our subconscious that's working on connecting the dots. Okay, the same thing happens when you dream. Okay, so it's connecting the dots of all the information that we've received, and it's representing that information to you in your imagination and the way you see things in your mind. It's why it's important that every day you have at least some time to be more theoretical and to think as opposed to just act. And so you want to pay very close attention to these things. All right. Experience will cultivate in your subconscious and provide insights in moments of vision. So be slow to change. Okay. It's very important. Man, we should do it this way. This way seems better. Well, think about how much effort you've put into the things that have already set the stage or the direction or the navigation for how you're doing it now. There may be a lot of thought that's gone into that. There may be a lot of collaboration. Maybe you got this theory from a lot of the different books that you've read or videos that you watched, and you took a lot of time to put this path together in which you're headed that you think is going to have the most level of success. So you've got to really be judgmental of the potential vision of doing things differently. And you've got to be very careful of the newness bug. I'll call it the newness bug. How's that? Write that down. When something's brand new, it feels strong, good, amazing. And a lot of times we can get caught up in the new idea, right? What an amazing thing. You know, relationships work a lot that way. People that bounce around to relationships are always looking for that new experience that they're getting instead of cultivating a deeper, longer, and more fruitful, or in my opinion, at least, a lot more valuable relationship by sticking it out with somebody. So you got to be careful that you're not falling prey to that, all right, that it's just this new idea. But if it's strong and you keep thinking about it and it keeps coming up and it keeps creating this conflict with how you are operating, like, well, it's just better. Well, in this arena, it would just work better. This would actually operate more efficiently. This would be more dynamic. This will help me grow faster. It will save me money. If all of these thoughts keep coming to you, what is happening is your subconscious mind, through all of your experience, has cultured something that's a superior mode of activity, and it's going to continue to bother you, you could say, or continue to challenge you on the path in which you've developed already, until finally you're really unsure of whether or not you should make the change or not. Now, you really got to get all the way to that point. Now, I'm not saying this takes days. For me, yesterday, I had a major insight come to me, and I immediately got on the phone, started talking to a lot of the people that I really trust, some of them I consider mentors in the healthcare business, especially. And I bounced all of these things off of them. I had them talk back and forth. They even helped me work in culturing it a little bit faster. And I'm actually going to be making a fairly extensive change to just a few of the things that we're doing. And it came in an insight because I continue to speak with people in the industry. I continue to culture the experience that I'm getting as I move forward. I'm becoming more capable. But it was definitely not just something that I jumped out and just started changing. And I, even this morning, I'm in the middle of still creating more spreadsheets. Okay, if you want to know if something's going to work, do the math. Okay, I'm developing more spreadsheets to really just keep fighting myself a little bit to make sure that what I'm thinking about is actually the most efficient way to do it and not just the new idea that seems amazing. So be slow to change, be thoughtful, and ask others their opinions. If you need to change something, act with massive action. So if you do need to change something in the way you're operating, don't sit on the fence, but don't put yourself in a position to where you're just jumping over from one side of the fence back to the other, back to the other, back to the other either. Okay, if you're going to make a strong decision about something that has to change in the way you're operating, and many of us all the way down to personal levels, like when you know there's certain things, eating better, exercising, sleeping on time, making 100 calls instead of 50 calls. I mean, we could talk about things you need to change. Those are easy decisions, right? Not that they're easy to follow through on, but they're easy decisions. But when you start to operate and you are efficient and you feel that you're actually taking the actions that you should, and hey, man, I made those 100 calls a day. I'm getting up at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whatever your morning schedule is. I am eating well. You know, when all of a sudden you are following the things that you should be following. Okay, in your business design, I've got the right people in place. They understand the information. I know what marketing materials to use. I know how I'm going to to penetrate the web marketing side of what I'm doing. You got all these variables in place, and they're accurate. In your mind, they're as accurate as they could have possibly been ever 2 days ago. Okay. When you have all of those things in place, you don't want to be in a big hurry. When I say big hurry, I mean you can definitely make decisions in a couple of days. I don't mean weeks. But you don't want to be in a big hurry to take all of the effort that you've put in and make a major adjustment unless it is actually for certain superior. And once you know it is, you've got to get into it, figure it out, try to get as far tracked into that as you've had your other mode of operating into. So in other words, if it took you 6 weeks to set things in place and you've already got momentum and the people you're working with are going forward, you might have to do 6 weeks worth of work in 2 weeks so that you don't kill the momentum of the activities that you have. And you might have to think very granular about what absolutely must change in order to facilitate this new idea or this new mode of operating before you go bull in a china shop and just start breaking dishes. Okay, so think it through very intelligently. I'm in the middle of doing that myself. Businesses always have things that could be operated more efficiently at a higher level. A lot of times that takes people. Sometimes, finally you're at a point where you can't do it all on your own. You need people. I have a lot of people that work for me. That changes the dynamics extensively once they're there. So you're constantly growing and changing anyways. But if you have a major change you need to make because you know it's just going to be better, be slow to change, be thoughtful, and ask others their opinions. And if you need to make that change, act with massive action because you don't want to kill your momentum. All right, well, have an incredible Thursday. This is one of my favorite days because we have an onboarding call with our sales reps with the Beto Paredes family companies. Very excited about that. I will be here tomorrow morning. I don't have as demanding of a requirement on me today or tomorrow on contracting or anything, so I will most certainly be here. And you probably noticed I did send out the update. You'll see it come out and says, the actual times have changed. I try to make sure that happens just to give you guys kind of an idea that I won't be able to do it in the morning, but I usually am here when I'm in office, and I will definitely be here tomorrow. Thank you for joining me, and let's get out there. Let's get some fire in our cups, and let's make it a powerful, very effective, and again, as I always say, a day that at the end you look back and you can say, I most definitely made progress today. That's the most important point. The last 10 minutes of your day, even, you should just stop and say, okay, did I actually accomplish more from the time I got in until the time I actually left? So have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you again here tomorrow morning.